Welcome to Rome and the streets of the Italian capital that will host rounds 3 and 4 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship this weekend. Now a double header, and we've got quite a bit to catch up on. The first 2 races gave us a few talking points, some driver debuts and some very eventful qualifying and race sessions. So in Rome, who are the main contenders? What rivalries have been formed? How is the circuit going to be different? There are a few changes which we'll get into in a little bit. And also, which teams have brought new powertrains? Let's get stuck into it.
And we go green in Rome. Andre Lotterer leads, then it's Evans, then it's Van Dorn, then it's Buemi. Almost there, he's got to go for it.
As hard as it is to predict Formula E, we're going to give it a try, or at least make some educated assumptions. So let's start with the first 2 race winners of the season so far.
Nick De Vries' domination of round 1 has fired the former Formula 2 champion into contention. Flawlessly executed after a season of quietly going about his business with a handful of solid points finishes, to then go on and get his first pole position and win in Formula E in the Season 7 opener. That Mercedes EQ package is looking strong and quick, especially considering in addition to Nick's win, Stoffel Van Dorn was able to make up 18 positions over the first 2 rounds after some disappointing qualifying sessions. Van Dorn scored his first Formula E podium here in Season 5. Could we see a return to the podium this weekend? Sam Bird won the second round, which came to a finish under a red flag after Alex Lynn's terrifying crash. Bird had a race-long battle with his old teammate Robin Frijns, but he came out on top in his first race weekend with Jaguar Racing, and alongside a podium for teammate Mitch Evans in round 1. Evans got his and the team's first win in Rome last time we visited, so with their start to the season, there's a chance of repeating their success here in rounds 3 and 4.
So there's quite a few drivers that could be contenders here this weekend, because the reality is, going into a race weekend in Formula E, almost anything can happen. But based on performance so far this season and potential to do well here in Rome,
Robin Frijns started round 2 on pole after dominating qualifying and finished the race in P2 with solid team points. His rookie teammate Nick Cassidy looked strong as well though, climbing up the order last time out, but he didn't get the points because of the post-race penalties given out to him and a few others. Eduardo Mortara looked impressive in the opening round also, his first podium of the season in the Rocket Venturi, showing similar pace as the set of Mercedes with the same powertrain. Unfortunately, his brake issue and the high-impact crash that followed in free practice meant we didn't get to see if he could replicate that success in round 2, but maybe we'll see similar pace from him here. Before we move on, there are a few more stories around teams and drivers for us to explore.
So what's the story at DS Techeetah? We've got 2 champions, equally matched in equally impressive and competitive machinery. That sounds like a good thing, right? But round 2 showed us another glimpse of how that can cause friction within the team.
They're going to make contact. Jean-Eric Vergne's heading towards the wall.
Guys, what the is that? Seriously?
Really?
Oh, Tonio, what you doing?
Relax, Pascal.
That was not the rule of the race, fighting like that.
Diriyah showed us on track how this pairing can have consequences for the drivers and overall team dynamic. As much as we could keep pulling at that thread, the rivalry and heat within the team, we've seen how they can turn it around before. And the only thing more challenging than these 2 drivers in form is when they work together. We've seen how team strategy can secure wins, maximise attack mode use and energy management, Mexico, Marrakesh and Berlin being prime examples. How these strategies and wheel-to-wheel on-track moments play out is in their hands. The opportunity is there for huge success, but so is the chance of throwing away a driver and team's title fight.
So last time out in Diriyah, we saw a strong yet unexpected turn of performance from the Neo 333 Racing and Dragon Penske Autosport teams. They're both looking to be a much more competitive proposition this season.
31 points scored between the 2 slowest teams last season in the opening 2 rounds. They left Diriyah with more points than in the entire previous season of Formula E, the previous 2 seasons combined for Neo 333. There are a number of reasons why that is. The close grid, yes. The qualifying format, yes. It's no secret that both Neo and Dragon have more limited resources than others on the grid. But what they do have are experienced race teams and engineers and a newfound determination and perseverance which can't be overlooked. It's also no secret that when it comes to powertrain efficiency and energy management ability, they might fall behind that of the resource-heavy manufacturer teams. But with the grid much closer this season, you'd better believe that the teams that struggled in the past, these two included, will be there to capitalize on the mistakes and power forward.
They're still underdogs, don't get me wrong, but this season they've just got a little bit more bite, and who doesn't love a good underdog story? So qualifying in Formula E is of course always eventful, but what this Rome street circuit allows us to do is to get a more of an idea of a typical representative Formula E qualifying session, so we can see which teams and drivers have the strongest one-lap pace going forward.
Diriyah proved again how the format can be punishing. Huge track evolution through the qualifying groups, and it took the perfect lap with 0 mistakes to make it into Superpole and a chance of a top 6 grid position. But the Diriyah circuit is a little bit of an anomaly thanks to its desert location and the addition of moving sand on the racing surface. Mistakes, slides, over-understeer are more likely than on other circuits as a result. Rome, with a more traditional race day format and start time, should offer a more manageable track surface and a more consistent temperature over the course of the race day.
So we've seen how close the gaps are between teams this season, especially considering that one-lap pace. So qualifying is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster, and mistakes are ready to be pounced on. The drivers that can be consistently perfect are going to be the ones that put themselves into race-winning positions. So what does that mean? That means extra preparation, it means more time in the sim, it means flawless setup, seamless strategy, and uber-efficient energy management. The Rome circuit is often pretty well regarded by the Formula E drivers, thanks to things like the challenging corners and the undulation that it offers. This season, however, that configuration has changed slightly. It's 0.26 miles longer with extended, faster straights, trickier corners, and more overtaking opportunities. Desirable features of a racetrack. Check, check, and check.
A new long loop that runs through the Parco del Ninfeo, climbing up to a left, right sequence of corners. The long downhill section remains, now a little bit earlier in the lap, but the section that follows has been extended. Overall, the changes look to make for great racing, higher speeds, challenging corners, and without losing that great undulation. Make sure to check out Dario Franchitti's track guide for more detail on the changes and what to look out for. Even though it's not an entirely new circuit configuration, the changes are enough to throw out any existing data the teams might have gathered in previous seasons to help with the sim prep and the car setup. Which means the playing field is somewhat leveled in that regard for rookie drivers and teams that haven't raced in Rome before. Ideal for the 8 drivers on the grid who'll be racing here for the first time and now with less of a disadvantage.
So there we go, a few thoughts ahead of this weekend's doubleheader here in Rome. Let us know your predictions in the comments, play along with Predictor on the Formula E app and website, and head to FIAFormulaE.com/watch to find out where to watch the race.